What's up, my reefing peeps? It's Psywar, and in this update, my reef tank is devastated by mass coral die-off, ick, and a hair algae outbreak. It's bad. There's no sugarcoating it. Over the course of about 2 weeks, I lost pretty much all my SPS. As soon as it started happening, I knew exactly what caused it. The tank had a big alkalinity swing, and it was my fault. You see, about 2 months ago, I had decided to transition from kalkwasser in my auto top-off reservoir over to a dosing pump so I could dose calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium individually. My thought process was that I would slowly lower the kalkwasser dosage down to nothing over the course of about 2 months. Then I would set up the dosing pump and then slowly raise the parameters back up again. I decided to go this route because I wasn't confident in my ability to match the parameters of the kalkwasser with the new parameters of the dosing pump. And if I couldn't match the parameters immediately, I knew I'd have a swing and it'd result in negative effects. By transitioning slowly, I was trying to avoid exactly what happened here. By the time the coral started bleaching, it was too late. There was nothing I could do to counteract it. The damage had already been done. Looking at my tank and seeing all the coral death makes me sick to my stomach. You know, we pour so much money, so much energy, so much of ourselves into these tanks. When something like this happens, I honestly contemplated walking away from the hobby and just quitting outright. But after a few days and a little self-reflection, I decided to clean up the aftermath. So, this is all that's left of my reef tank. Oddly enough, for some reason my red planet survived, and I'm lucky that none of the euphyllias were seriously affected. They came out the other side of this relatively unscathed. I can't help but run through a range of emotions while I sit here editing this. I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, and to top it all off, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. But, in the end, at least I'll have a fresh start with my SPS. On top of all of this, I had an ick outbreak in my tank. About a month ago, I added 3 new fish to the system. I purchased a high fin goby to pair up with a teeny tiny little pistol shrimp that I found in my tank. I had him during the tank move, and I hadn't seen him for 8 months. And then all of a sudden one day I saw him. I've only seen the two together a handful of times, but at least I know they're paired. The shrimp is just really shy. Also, I bought a tail spot blenny. I've always liked these guys. They're full of personality and character. And I also got a tiger goby. Now, I don't have any video of him because he died inexplicably one night. I never even saw a body. I know they're prone to jumping, but I have this tank on lockdown. There's no way out. Now, it's my guess that one of these new guys brought ick into the tank. I know what you're going to say before you even say it, but I don't have space for a quarantine tank, nor do I have the patience to look at a fish that's not on my display. I fully understand that I'm playing Russian roulette, and in this case, I shot myself. Ironically, I never saw symptoms of ick on any of these new fish. It was only on my established fish. So, who got hit with ick? I first noticed two small spots on my purple tang. They stood out and were easy to see because of his color. Then I noticed more spots on my blue tang. But the worst out of them all was my tiny little neon goby. Because of his small size, it made the ick look 10 times as bad. The little guy was covered. Pulling my tank apart to catch these fish was not an option, and I didn't have a quarantine tank to put them in anyway, so I decided to throw a Hail Mary and try and treat them in place. I bought some Polyblab Medic and started the process at the smallest recommended dose. Now, I know what you skeptics are going to say. There's no reef-safe cure for ick, only copper. I understood this going into my situation, but I had to try something. I wasn't going to just sit around and let ick run its course and wipe out my entire stock. I had to put up some kind of a fight. I increased the feeding in order to keep their strength up, and I knew from past experience, as long as they were eating, they were okay. It's when they stop eating that they start going downhill and you can't recover them. After about 7 days, I noticed an improvement in all affected fish. I was really surprised, so I upped the dosage and continued treating. After 17 days, the ick was gone. I was astounded. As of this filming, all the fish are doing good, and I haven't seen a resurgence of ick. On top of the coral death and the ick, I also had a hair algae outbreak. I think there were two contributing factors to the hair algae problem I have. One, the overfeeding during the ick outbreak. This added more nutrients to the water, which fed the algae. And two, my magnesium dropped as I was lowering the dosing. And as I understand it, magnesium is a contributing factor to controlling hair algae. So, I started manually removing the hair algae. What a pain in the butt this is. When I couldn't get any more with my fingers, I started scrubbing at it with a toothbrush. And that was it for the hair algae. It's obviously something that I'm going to have to keep up with, but I think it's manageable. With all this bad news, there is a small silver lining. My blue tang's head and lateral line erosion is way better. Over the last month or so, there's been a huge improvement. I don't know if it's because of the Polyblab Medic or just time, but he looks way better. I'll tell you what, I will never run carbon in a reef tank again. My new pride and joy is my small Nirvana clam. I've had it about a month and it's doing really good. I've wanted a clam for a long time, but never felt I had the skills to keep it. Unfortunately, I had to go through 2 small maximas in order to learn my lesson. I put the Nirvana in the sand and placed a small flat rock underneath him. He latched onto the rock, he's fully open and really happy. I also added a few new members to the cleanup crew. I got 2 orange chestnut snails and about a dozen blue leg hermit crabs. And I also added some Caulerpa macroalgae to my sump. Also, while I was out fishing, I grabbed more mangroves and stuck those in the sump. So, I think this video's gone on long enough, but there's a lot that's happened since the last update. As always, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Stay salty.